Assalamu alaikum and welcome to the students of class 6. Once again, this is the second topic which we'll discuss. The topic is again Musa Ali's camel, and it has been again taken from U2 syllabus of class 6 English textbook. First of all, let us have a recap of those points which we have already discussed in first session, which you have viewed before. When we started our lesson, we see that a doctor by profession and her daughter, his daughter named Sana. The daughter has been transferred from Srinagar to Nobra Valley of Ladakh. He asked her daughter to accompany him. So the father and the daughter went to Nobra Valley, where they stayed as paying guests in the house of Dixit Dolma. So Sama, when she reached Nobra, she became friends with Dolma, and this Sama, she was very curious to know about the Nobra Valley and the specialities. Dolma Dixit told her that there are some of the specialties. The first specialty is this: Ladakh is called a desert, and second one is it's not simply a desert, it is a cold desert. And the third specialty which Dolma told about Ladakh is that there is a camel called Bactrian camel, and that camel has two humps instead of one. So to answer these curiosities and to see the live things, there Dolma fixed a meeting of hers and Sama with a local boy who was just like a shepherd boy, whose name is Musa Ali. So now the meeting had been fixed on the next coming Sunday. Now the coming Sunday has arrived. We are just going to meet that Musa Ali, and we'll see how this Bactrian camel is looking like. My dear students, as it's English language, most of all we have to take care of the things, how we can read the things, what will be the pronunciation of the words, and what is the fluency in the language. So for that, there are some techniques we use in our class, and one of the techniques is called loud reading. In this class, first what we'll do, we'll have loud reading of a portion, or we can say the remaining portion of the lesson, so that you will be able to read the portion easily with correct pronunciation, with fluency, and then we'll discuss some of the vocabulary that has been used in this lesson. So if you remember, in our first class we left, I'm reading a few lines from that portion so that you will remember where we had already left in the first class, and now in the second class we'll move forward. We have left here, Sama was very curious to know who this Musa Ali was. However, it was a bright Sunday morning, and Sama was very happy because she had no other friends at Nobra. Sama and Dolma, after enjoying gurgur tea and muk left for Musa Ali's home. Sama was surprised to see the camel cough in the company of a boy. Dixit Dolma, pointing towards the boy, said, "Look, he is Musa Ali." After exchanging pleasantries, Dolma asked Musa Ali to tell them something about the Bactrian camel. Musa Ali asked them to accompany him along with the camel cough into the vicinity of his village Dixit, where a group of Bactrian camel was present. Now, if you see on your book, there is a passage written on the green box. This is the passage of information where you will get the correct information about this Bactrian camel. I am reading this portion also so that you will get the information, and later on when you recap or when you repeat this lesson, you will be able to understand what actually a Bactrian camel is and how it looks like. For example, here the words are, the Bactrian camel is originally a native of Mongolia, where it is called the Haktkai. However, it is also found in remote areas of Gobi deserts and in Mongolia and China, where it is heavily hunted for its height and meat. It is interesting to know that most of the transport across Karakoram and Silk Road was on the double-humped Bactrian camel because of its outstanding performance on the mountains and desert trails. The Bactrian camel is the best prepared mammals for the harsh atmospheres of the desert. Faced with the scorching heat, chilling cold, and scarcity of food and water, many animals struggle, but the wild Haktkai faced all the odds. The camel can cover around 50 kilometers a day. The camel's long, narrow nostril and dense eyelashes sufficiently prevent damage from sandstorms. It sweats and urinates little, thus prolonging resistance of thirst. It was not actually the part of your lesson, your story, but it was a caption that gives you a good deed of information regarding this Bactrian camel. Now let us move to our own story, where now three characters, Dolma, Sama and Musa Ali, are discussing about the Bactrian camel. Sama: it is so great to see the camel calf clinging to Musa Ali. Musa Ali: I have many times tried to find the camel calf's mother so that the camel can join its herd, because I take it as my moral duty. Dolma: it is so happy with you, it treats you as its mother. Sama: nowadays one hardly finds harmony between man and animals. It seems that the two cannot coexist. Encroaching upon the animal world deprives the animal world of their habitat. Every now and then we see about the tiger killing a man and a man killing a bear. Musa Ali: the population of the Bactrian camel is also declining currently. The Bactrian camel is found only in Mongolia, China and Ladakh, Nubra, and a number of wild Bactrian camel is a few thousand worldwide. However, it's encouraging thing, in Nubra it is increasing in number. Dolma: what is the reason behind it? Sama: obviously man-animal relationship. Didn't you notice the camel calf's love for Musa Ali? Musa Ali: it is a symbiotic relationship. I hope for the wild Bactrian camel to survive and grow in number, which has otherwise almost reached to the brink of extinction. Dolma: well, Musa, you had taken a chance to look for the reunion of camel calf with its herd, but could not find the calf's mother. So the story goes on between the two of you, Musa Ali. Yes, the camel calf is my companion, and the two of us will face the hard times ahead of us together. This is the rest of the portion of the text. First half we have already done in the first class, and this is the second class in which we are discussing this lesson, Musa Ali's camel. Now again I'm remembering you that it is the unit 2 of class 6 textbook. Now after reading this portion, you might have got the idea how you can read and how you can improve your reading, but only reading is not sufficient for the student. It is something that you have to understand, you have to comprehend the text which you are reading. For that, what you have to do, you have to go through the vocabulary, you have to go through the word meaning of those words which you do not understand yourself. So, to help you in this order, I have written a few words from the lesson. These are those words I think that you may or may not be knowing. There are students who might know these words already, but there are students who might not be knowing. So, for those students who do not know these words, I'll read those words out with proper pronunciation, and I'll read the meaning out also, so that when you go through the book, you will understand the lesson very nicely and very easily. On this vocabulary chart, my first word is native. It's pronounced as native. Native means local, the resident of a particular area. So, we say in our lesson that Musa Ali was a native boy of Nubra. So, native means local. Musa Ali is the local boy of this Nubra Valley. Second word on the chart is Haftakai. Although this word is not from English language, this word is from Mongolian language, and this Haftakai, what is this Haftakai? It is the Mongolian name for Bactrian camel. The third word on the chart is height. Mostly we are using this word as verb. Height in this lesson has been used as noun, and it is the synonym of second. The fourth word is trail. Just check the word. It's not trial. Most of the students read it as trial, but the spelling of the trial is T-R-I-A-L. But here the word is T-R-A-I-L. So we have to be conscious while reading out this word. It is trail. Trails means a narrow, unpaved pathway. That means we have some paddleways in the forests, in the jungles, where least number of people walk on those paths, and those paths are called trails. The fifth word is scorching, and this scorching in our lesson is related to heat. That means scorching heat is written for the hot deserts. This scorching means intensely hot. When you have increasing heat, when you have extreme heat, that is called scorching heat, and we can experience that scorching heat in dry and hot deserts. Now we will move to another word, and that another word is chilling. We might have heard the word chill, and we are relating to our atmosphere, our weather. We have a part of weather that is called Chilakalan that has a resemblance with this word chill, and here we have used it as adjective. Chilling. Chilling means extremely cold. Now let us move to another word. There is a word used in your lesson that Bactrian camel fight all the odds. Odds are a word here, and it means difficulties. That means there were a lot of difficulties which Bactrian camel faced in that area, but he proved himself successful in facing those difficulties. Now, the eighth word is written here, eyelashes. Eyelashes, everyone have eyelashes on the eyelids. The meaning of this eyelashes is hair grown in a line on the edge of eyelids. And we have seen that every animal has eyelashes, and these eyelashes protect these animals of any sort of disturbance that is in the atmosphere, because eyes are very crucial and very soft part of human or animal body, and it is very precious also. That is why Almighty Allah has given a protection to these eyes, and one of the part of the protecting this eye is eyelashes. Now there is another word, resistance. This resistance has been derived from resist. Resist means the capacity to oppose. The capacity to oppose means the capacity to bear any any difficulty, any trouble, or any odds. Well, another word number 10 on the chart, that is protect. What do you mean by protect? It is save or secure, or we can say in exact words, we can say that to save from a danger. When you save something from the danger, it will be called protect. Another word used in the lesson is clinging. Here, the quotation was, the camel calf was clinging to Musa Ali. Clinging means attaching or sticking. There is another word here, word number 12, that is encroaching. We might have heard about encroachment. What this encroachment or encroaching is? It is to intrude unrightfully or to advance gradually beyond your due limits. We have another word, deprives. Deprive means to deny something to someone. And the last word which I have written here is symbiotic. Symbiotic relationship is written there. Symbiotic means living together. There is symbiotic relationship between man and animal, and we see that symbiotic relationship between Musa Ali and the camel calf. Now, this was a vocabulary. This vocabulary can be used when you go through the lesson. Just watch the meaning of these words, try to understand our text so that you can be able to use the part of the language very easily. For example, the language needs 4 basic skills: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. When we use any sort of vocabulary, it helps us to understand the things, it helps us to read out the things properly, and ultimately it helps us to write down anything. The purpose of this lesson is not to know only about Bactrian camel. The purpose of this lesson is to develop language skills among the students. The students, you might know that in this lesson, we already know how to write a dialogue, how to develop rather a dialogue, how we can develop questions regarding any curiosities, and how we'll try to answer those questions. When a series of questions and answers came, that itself becomes a dialogue. There is another thing which we will try to learn today, and that is to write a description. Description of something, description of an animal, description of a person, description of a place, description of a building. What things we know, what things we need to know when we go to describe anything. Here we have already learned the things about Bactrian camel. Let us see how we can describe this Bactrian camel. We can describe Bactrian camel in different ways. For example, on this chart I have already described Bactrian camel, but this Bactrian camel has been described in points. For example, the first point about Bactrian camel is written, what is the zoological name of Bactrian camel? It is Camelus bactrianus. Once again, I am repeating, the zoological name of the Bactrian camel is Camelus bactrianus. It's a herbivore. The students, you have already learned about 3 different types of animals on the basis of their food habits. One we call herbivore, second we call carnivore, and third we call omnivore. And when we say an animal is a herbivore, that means he can feed itself only on vegetation, green grass, leaves, and other things. So, saying that this Bactrian camel is a herbivore, that means he can live only on green grass, animals, and other things. Food preferences. This food preference means what kind of food this Bactrian camel prefer to eat. We have written here grass, leaves, and shrubs. These are the things which Bactrian camel prefer to eat. But it can also eat. It's not the case that a Bactrian camel can eat only these things. It can also eat dry vegetation and salt bushes. It's actually basalt bushes. It's found, it's like just like some cactus, very harsh bushes, and only those camels can eat these salt bushes. Habitat means the place where this Bactrian camel lives. The habitat for a Bactrian camel is steep grassland, mountain valleys, for example, Nubra. Followed by a physical description. These were some of the characteristics of Bactrian camel. Now we will come to physical description of this Bactrian camel. A Bactrian camel can grow up to the length of 10 feet. When it comes into the adult age, there the maximum length of a Bactrian camel can be 10 feet, and its height at the hump level. Make it clear that the height is counted at the hump level of a Bactrian camel. At the hump level, the highest height of a Bactrian camel will be up to 7 feet, and its weight will be 1,500 pounds. This is a British measuring unit. We don't mostly know what a pound is. A pound is equal to 400 grams. That means 1,500 grams are all equal to 600 kilograms. That means a Bactrian camel can grow up to 600 kilograms. Now, coming to the color of a Bactrian camel is mostly of the color of light to dark brown. So we can say that a usual Bactrian has a brown color. Some Bactrian camels are of light brown and some are of dark brown. Then humps. When a normal camel, an Arabian camel, has only one hump, this Bactrian camel has two humps. Now there is another word written here. If you look at the spelling of this word, it is written like this: Gestation. Most of the students and most of the readers read it just like gestation. No, my dear students, this is not gestation. This is gestation. So we have to use proper pronunciation so that the listener will also understand what we are reading. Again, I am repeating, this is gestation. What do you mean by gestation? And it's a period of pregnancy in any animal. Here on our textbook, it is written like this: 12 to 15 months followed by a single birth. But my dear students, let me clear you here. This is a bit confusing here. It's not possible that gestation period will be from 12 to 15 months. It is exactly, you will remember, it is exactly 13 months. In humans, it's 9 months. In cows, it's again 9 months. And here, in Bactrian camels or in simply camels, it is 13 months. That means a 13 months pregnancy followed by a single birth. Single birth means once only one kid or one calf is getting birth. Lifespan. The maximum limit of life is called lifespan. A Bactrian camel can live up to 40 years. Or we can say that the maximum life for a Bactrian camel can be 40 years. And the last thing which I have written on this description chart is status. What do you mean by status? Status is something, what is the current situation of this kind of animal, and very unfortunately for Bactrian camel, it is endangered. What do you mean by endangered? Endangered means a species that is reducing, that is decreasing in number at a fast rate, and after a short period of time it will become extinct. But in the lesson it was something encouraging when Musa Ali says that in Nubra Valley this Bactrian camel is increasing in number. That was something encouraging. But when we see worldwide, this Bactrian camel has been termed as endangered. This was a kind of description that I have put on certain points regarding Bactrian camel. But my dear student, it is not only this way you can describe an animal or a thing. There are a few more ways. We'll discuss on those ways how we can describe something or some animal, some building, some place, so that it will be easy for us and we'll have a complete description. There is a technique that is called thematic mind map. Thematic mind map. What is this thematic mind map? Thematic mind map is a graphical representation of any sort of description. For example, we are here describing Bactrian camel. Bactrian camel. What we are doing, we are writing this word in the center of the page, and then what sort of information we know, we write in certain points. For example, it is zoological name, we'll write Camelus bactrianus. Then we have the food habit, then we have food preferences, then we have its habitat, then we have its description, then we have its color, then we have its special quality of humps, then we have gestation period, and then we have status. When we write these points on those arrows, this will be called a thematic mind map. But this thematic mind map is not enough for you students. What actually you need to write a small or a large write-up about any kind of animal. What you have to do, you have to try to convert these points into sentences, and then you have to connect those sentences to make a passage, to make a para, so that when you come up with your write-ups, it will be a nice write-up. So this is one of the techniques called thematic mind map, and this is again a technique, this is called a chart of description. So we can describe things with different techniques, but this is one of the techniques where students of your level, class 6, class 7, class 8, you will find very easy to deal with any topic of description. So to conclude here, let me recap a few points. In this lesson, we have read the lesson loudly so that we'll find, we'll know what the proper pronunciation of the words are. We have already gone through certain kinds of vocabulary. We have already described a camel, and then we have find one or two techniques how we can describe anything, any animal, and here we have tried to describe Bactrian camel. Now your homework will be, you must be able to describe any animal, anything, but the techniques you have to apply are these kinds of techniques. Thank you very much.
अस्सलाम वालेकुम स्टूडेंट्स, आज हमारी जो क्लास यहाँ पे होगी, इट इज़ द सेकेंड क्लास फॉर योर यूनिट दैट इज कोल एंड पेट्रोलियम. इन द प्रीवियस क्लास वी हैव डिस्कस्ड अबाउट natural resources, exhaustible and inexhaustible natural resources, and in that very class we discussed about coal, formation of coal and products of coal. तो थोड़ा सा रिकैप्चुलेट करते हैं. उसमें हमने बोला था देयर आर टू टाइप्स ऑफ रिसोर्सेज, वन आर exhaustible natural resources and inexhaustible natural resources. Inexhaustible natural resources are those resources which may not get exhausted by the human activities, or we can say ऐसे resources जो exhaust नहीं होंगे. For example sunlight हमने बोला था, for example air हमने बोला था. These are inexhaustible natural resources. जितना हम इनको यूज भी करते हैं लेकिन ये खत्म नहीं हो रहे हैं, इनको हम बोलते हैं inexhaustible natural resources. उसके बाद हमने डिस्कस किया था अबाउट एग्जॉस्टिबल नेचुरल रिसोर्सेज, और एग्जॉस्टिबल नेचुरल रिसोर्सेज में हमने बोला था ऐसे रिसोर्सेज जिनका डर है कि जो खत्म हो सकते हैं बाय ह्यूमन एक्टिविटीज. सो वी कैन से दोज नेचुरल रिसोर्सेज which may get exhausted by human activities are called exhaustible natural resources. Exhaustible natural resources में हमने बहुत सारी examples दी थी, लेकिन जो यहाँ पे हम डिस्कस करेंगे among exhaustible natural resources, that is coal that we have already discussed, and another exhaustible natural resource is petroleum and natural gas. So today in this very lesson we will discuss about petroleum and natural gas. What is petroleum? Petroleum. Petroleum is actually a dark colored thick liquid. Dark colored thick crude oil that is obtained from the crust of earth. कैसे निकालते हैं? By drilling wells. Wells drill किए जाते हैं and through those wells वहां से पहले natural gas बाहर आ जाता है and with the pressure वहां से पेट्रोलियम भी बाहर आ जाता है. तो अगर अब बात करें कि एक्चुअली हाउ दिस पेट्रोलियम वाज फॉर्म्ड, ये पेट्रोलियम बना कैसे? It is said that about millions of years ago ऐसे प्लांट्स और एनिमल्स, मोस्टली एनिमल्स जो सी एनिमल्स थे, जो सी में रह रहे थे, they died. When they died, they got buried in the sea, at the bottom of the sea, and with the passage of time क्ले ऊपर से आ गया, सैंड ऊपर से आ गया, टाइम होता गया, ज्यादा उनके ऊपर लेयर्स बढ़ती गई, बनती गई. जितनी लेयर्स वहां पे बनती गई उतना वहां पे क्या हुआ, उनके ऊपर प्रेशर ज्यादा बढ़ने लगा. जो ये डेड एनिमल्स और प्लांट्स थे, मोस्टली एनिमल्स, उनके ऊपर प्रेशर ज्यादा बढ़ने लगा. उस प्रेशर के साथ साथ उनके वहां पे देयर वाज एब्सेंस ऑफ ऑक्सीजन, वहां पे ऑक्सीजन भी प्रेजेंट नहीं था, एंड हाई टेम्परेचर वाज देयर. सो वी कैन से इन द प्रेजेंस ऑफ हाई टेम्परेचर, हाई प्रेशर and absence of air, they got converted into coal. वो they got converted into petroleum. वो पेट्रोलियम में कन्वर्ट हो गए, पेट्रोलियम एंड नेचुरल गैस. ये जो प्रोसेस हुई, it took millions of years. इसलिए हम बोलते हैं पेट्रोलियम भी अब नए से हम प्रिपेयर नहीं कर सकते हैं. It is not possible to prepare this petroleum in industries or in factories. That is not possible because it took millions of years. कि जैसे ये प्लांट्स, ये एनिमल्स कन्वर्ट हो गए पेट्रोलियम में, millions of years लगे इस प्रोसेस में. इसलिए हम बोलते हैं ये जो पेट्रोलियम है, that is also an exhaustible natural resource, so that we have to make judicious use of all the products of petroleum. Now the question is this petroleum used as a single entity? क्या ये पेट्रोलियम हम ऐसे ही यूज करते हैं? जैसे हमने कोल के बारे में पढ़ा था, हमने वहां पे कोल में देखा था, वहां पे सीधे ही कोल भी एज ए फ्यूल यूज होता था, कोल भी एज ए सोर्स ऑफ एनर्जी यूज होता था. क्या पेट्रोलियम को हम एज ए सोर्स ऑफ एनर्जी यूज कर सकते हैं कि नहीं कर सकते हैं? तो जवाब इसका है नहीं. पेट्रोलियम पहले रिफाइन करना पड़ता है. पेट्रोलियम की पहले रिफाइनिंग होती है, प्यूरिफिकेशन होती है. एक्चुअली दिस पेट्रोलियम इज हैविंग डिफरेंट constituents, different constituents, यानी पेट्रोलियम बहुत सारे constituents का बना हुआ है, जिसमें हम देखेंगे जिसमें पेट्रोलियम गैस है, जिसमें गैसोलीन या जिसको हम पेट्रोल बोलते हैं, जहां पे और एक constituent that is diesel, another constituent that is kerosene, one more constituent that is lubricating oil, another constituent is bitumen. These are the different constituents of petroleum. पेट्रोलियम गैस जो होता है, ये पेट्रोलियम गैस एज अ फ्यूल यूज होता है, जिसे हम एलपीजी बोलते हैं. इन अवर होम्स जो सबसे ज्यादा फ्यूल यूज होता है इन टुडेज वर्ल्ड, दैट इज एलपीजी, लिक्विफाइड पेट्रोलियम गैस. पेट्रोल जो होता है, इट इज यूज्ड एज फ्यूल इन व्हीकल्स, व्हीक्यूलर फ्यूल. डीजल जो बड़ी व्हीकल्स होती है उनमें एज ए फ्यूल यूज होता है. कैरोसिन एयरक्राफ्ट्स में यूज होता है एज ए फ्यूल. उसके बगैर जो स्टोव्स हमारे पास होते हैं उनमें भी एज ए फ्यूल यूज होता है. lubricating oil is used for lubrication purposes. और जो bitumen है, bitumen is used in road surfacing. One more constituent is here, that is paraffin, paraffin wax. That paraffin wax is used in the formation of ointments and in the formation of candles. जो कैंडल्स हम घर में देखते हैं वो किससे बने होते हैं? पैराफिन से. और जो जेलीज होती है, वैसलीन होता है, वो वैसलीन भी इसी पैराफिन से बना हुआ होता है. So we can say this petroleum is actually it is having different constituents, and these constituents are petroleum gas, petrol, diesel, kerosene, lubricating oil, bitumen and paraffin wax. Now there is a question कि ये अलग अलग constituents हम बाहर कैसे निकालते हैं? जब पेट्रोलियम हमने थ्रू वेल्स, जिन्हें हम कश्मीरी में बोलते हैं मन तिलकी ही रेसवानांच, उनसे जब ये पेट्रोलियम हम बाहर निकालते हैं तो उसके बाद क्या ये पेट्रोलियम सीधे हम यूज करते हैं? नहीं. उससे पहले इस पेट्रोलियम की रिफाइनिंग होती है. रिफाइनिंग मीन्स प्यूरिफिकेशन. रिफाइनिंग इज द प्रोसेस, ऐसी प्रोसेस जिससे हम पेट्रोलियम के जितने भी कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंट से अलग अलग आते हैं उसको हम रिफाइनिंग बोलते हैं. और ये रिफाइनिंग कैसे होती है, उसके लिए एक पर्टिकुलर प्रोसेस है जिसे हम बोलते हैं फ्रैक्शनल डिस्टिलेशन ऑफ पेट्रोलियम. Fractional distillation of petroleum. As we know that this petroleum is having different fractions in it, उन fractions को अलग अलग करना, उन fractions को अलग अलग निकालना, that is called fractional distillation of petroleum. And what is the mechanism for that? The mechanism is because all the fractions of petroleum, जो मैंने अभी यहाँ पे fractions of petroleum लिखी थी, जिनमें पेट्रोल आता है, डीजल आता है, केरोसिन आता है, पैराफिन आता है, other constituents are there. They all are having different boiling points. They are having different boiling points. उनके boiling points अलग अलग होते हैं. उससे क्या होता है, उन्हें जब पेट्रोलियम रिफाइनरी में डाला जाता है, वहां पे हीट किया जाता है, तो अलग अलग कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंट्स जिनके अलग अलग बॉइलिंग पॉइंट्स रखते हैं, तो वो अलग अलग टाइम पे बाहर आ जाते हैं. तो उस रिफाइनरी के बाहर अलग अलग होल्स होते हैं जहां से उनको कलेक्ट किया जाता है. एंड दैट प्रोसेस इज कॉल्ड फ्रैक्शनल डिस्टिलेशन ऑफ पेट्रोलियम. वेरी गुड। तो अभी तक हमने क्या पढ़ा इस क्लास में? अभी तक हमने पढ़ा पेट्रोलियम। अब मैं आपसे पूछूंगा, एक क्वेश्चन का जवाब दीजिए मुझे। इज दिस पेट्रोलियम एन एग्जॉस्टिबल रिसोर्स और इनएग्जॉस्टिबल रिसोर्स? वेरी गुड, इट इज एन एग्जॉस्टिबल रिसोर्स। क्यों एग्जॉस्टिबल रिसोर्स है? हम देखते हैं इसका कितना यूज होता है डे टू डे लाइफ में। ज्यादा यूज आजकल पेट्रोलियम के जो प्रोडक्ट्स हैं, पेट्रोल, डीजल, इनका ज्यादा यूज होता है एंड बाय दीज ह्यूमन एक्टिविटीज दीज प्रोडक्ट्स मे गेट एग्जॉस्टेड और वी कैन से पेट्रोलियम मे गेट एग्जॉस्ट। इसलिए हम इसको बोलते हैं इट इज एग्जॉस्टेबल नेचुरल रिसोर्स। अच्छा, कैन यू टेल मी द नेम ऑफ दैट प्रोसेस जिससे हम अलग अलग फ्रैक्शंस ऑफ पेट्रोलियम को बाहर निकालते हैं? उस प्रोसेस को क्या बोलते हैं? वेरी गुड, दैट इज कॉल्ड फ्रैक्शनल डिस्टिलेशन ऑफ पेट्रोलियम। फ्रैक्शनल डिस्टिलेशन ऑफ पेट्रोलियम। और एक क्वेश्चन, व्हाट इज द मेन रीजन? कैसे इनको अलग अलग करते हैं? किस चीज को क्राइटेरिया बनाते हैं कि ये अलग अलग फ्रैक्शंस अलग अलग टाइम पे उस पेट्रोलियम रिफाइनरी से बाहर आ जाती हैं? बॉइलिंग पॉइंट, बिकॉज ऑल द फ्रैक्शंस ऑफ पेट्रोलियम आर हैविंग डिफरेंट बॉइलिंग पॉइंट्स, इसलिए उनको हम बोलते हैं ये अलग अलग पॉइंट टाइम पे बाहर आ जाते हैं क्योंकि उनका बॉइलिंग पॉइंट डिफरेंट है। उसको हम बोलते हैं फ्रैक्शनल डिस्टिलेशन ऑफ पेट्रोलियम। और एक वन मोर क्वेश्चन कि ये पेट्रोलियम फॉर्मेशन कैसे हुई, किन से बना? वेरी गुड, जो ऐसे एनिमल्स थे और प्लांट्स थे इन सीज, मोस्टली एनिमल्स, वो कन्वर्ट हो गए आफ्टर अ लॉन्ग पीरियड ऑफ टाइम, it took millions of years to get converted into petroleum. Now, अभी हमने यहां पे बोला one constituent of petroleum, that is LPG. LPG आप सबों ने सुना होगा। What is the full form of LPG? It is actually liquefied petroleum gas. जब एक पेट्रोलियम गैस obtain होता है तो it is not easy to store that gas somewhere. अगर हम इस LPG का 1 किलो गैस भी लेंगे तो उस गैस को खुला छोड़ेंगे तो ये कमरा भी कम पड़ जाएगा उस 1 kg पेट्रोलियम गैस के लिए, क्योंकि वो बहुत सारी जगह लेगा और उसका फिर ट्रांसपोर्टेशन वो दैट विल नॉट बी इजी, और उसको कंटेन करना कहीं पे दैट विल नॉट बी इजी। उसके लिए कंटेनर्स कैसे हम लाएंगे, कैसे ट्रांसपोर्ट करेंगे, दैट इज अ क्वेश्चन। इसलिए क्या किया जाता है, जो ये पेट्रोलियम गैस होता है इसको कंप्रेस किया जाता है। जब इसको कंप्रेस किया जाता है इट गेट्स कन्वर्टेड इनटू लिक्विड। ये लिक्विड में यानी बहुत सारा अमाउंट जो पेट्रोलियम गैस का है उससे हम थोड़े से लिक्विड में कन्वर्ट कर सकते हैं। जब ये कन्वर्ट होता है इनटू लिक्विड फिर हम इसको बोलते हैं कि इसको हमने लिक्विफाई किया, दैट इज कॉल्ड लिक्विफाइड पेट्रोलियम गैस। नाउ देयर आर सम एडवांटेजेस ऑफ दिस liquefied petroleum gas. What are those advantages? First advantage is it is the mostly used fuel. सबसे ज्यादा यूज जो किया जाता है आज की तारीख में फ्यूल, दैट इज LPG, liquefied petroleum gas. One more advantage of this LPG is, क्यों सबसे ज्यादा यही फ्यूल यूज होता है? It is having high calorific value. High calorific value. What does it mean, calorific value? हम देखते हैं कि हर एक फ्यूल का अपना अलग अलग कैलोरिफिक वैल्यू होता है। ये कैलोरिफिक वैल्यू क्या हुआ? फॉर एग्जाम्पल, मैंने अभी किसी भी फ्यूल का 1 kg लिया, उस 1 kg को मैं बर्न करता हूं। जब उस 1 kg को हमने बर्न किया, वो 1 kg कितनी हीट प्रोड्यूस करेगा, that gives us the calorific value. यानी how much amount of fuel gives how much amount of heat, that gives the calorific value. तो अगर हम इस LPG का calorific value देखते हैं, that is about 50,000 kilojoules per kg. That means if we will burn 1 kg of liquefied petroleum gas, that will give us how much amount of heat? 50,000 kilojoules. इतने किलो जूल्स हमें हीट मिलेंगे by burning only 1 kg of LPG. That is why we say that this LPG is having a very high calorific value. Another use of this petroleum gas is it produces no pollution. जब हम इस LPG को बर्न करते हैं वहां से कोई भी ऐसा गैस नहीं निकलता है जो कि एज ए पोल्यूटेंट हो, जो कि एयर का पोल्यूशन करे, या ऐसा कोई गैस जो हमारे लिए हार्मफुल हो, ऐसा कोई भी गैस नहीं निकलता है व्हेन वी बर्न LPG. One more advantage of this LPG is it is easy to handle. It is easy to handle. Easily हम इसको हैंडल कर सकते हैं. It comes in those gas cylinders. उनको easily हैंडल किया जाता है और easily स्टोर भी किया जाता है और easily ट्रांसपोर्ट भी किया जाता है from one place to another place. That is why we say that in today's world this LPG is an ideal fuel. ये बहुत ही अच्छा फ्यूल है, पोल्यूशन भी कम प्रोड्यूस करता है, कैलोरीफिक वैल्यू भी बहुत ज्यादा है, कन्वीनियंट यूज करने में होता है, स्टोरेज भी अच्छी तरह होती है और ट्रांसपोर्टेशन भी अच्छी तरह होती है. और जो अदर प्रोडक्ट्स ऑफ दिस पेट्रोलियम है जिसमें हमने कैरोसिन देखा, डीजल देखा, पेट्रोलियम देखा, वो भी यूज अपनी अपनी जगह पे होते हैं. उनके भी बहुत सारे एडवांटेजेस एंड डिसएडवांटेजेस हैं, लेकिन एलपीजी की ज्यादा एडवांटेजेस हैं लेकिन डिसएडवांटेजेस इसकी बहुत कम या न होने के बराबर हैं. Now, it was all about petroleum. Now there is natural gas. Natural gas. Natural gas is actually methane. 95% इसमें मीथेन होता है. मीथेन इज आल्सो ए हाइड्रोकार्बन. एक्चुअली जितने भी प्रोडक्ट्स होते हैं इस पेट्रोलियम के, दे ऑल आर हाइड्रोकार्बन्स. चाहे पेट्रोल, डीजल, पैराफिन, एलपीजी, ये जितने भी प्रोडक्ट्स, जितने भी कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंट्स, जितने भी फ्रैक्शंस इसमें थी, ये सभी हाइड्रोकार्बन्स हैं. हाइड्रोकार्बन मींस कंपाउंड्स ऑफ हाइड्रोजन एंड कार्बन. जो कार्बन और हाइड्रोजन से कंपाउंड्स बनते हैं उनको हम हाइड्रोकार्बन्स बोलते हैं. और उन्हीं हाइड्रोकार्बन्स में एक हाइड्रोकार्बन है दैट इज मीथेन. अगर हम नेचुरल गैस में देखें, नेचुरल गैस इज मेनली मीथेन विद सम अमाउंट ऑफ ईथेन एंड प्रोपेन. थोड़ा अमाउंट इसमें ईथेन और प्रोपेन का भी होता है, लेकिन मेन जो कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंट है नेचुरल गैस का दैट इज मीथेन. अब इस नेचुरल गैस की क्या एडवांटेजेस हैं? What are the advantages of this natural gas? अगर हम देखें, आपने एक टर्म सुनी होगी, एब्रिविएशन, दैट इज CNG. CNG इज कंप्रेस्ड नेचुरल गैस. जैसे अभी हमने पढ़ा था वहां पे LPG लिक्विफाइड पेट्रोलियम गैस, पेट्रोलियम गैस को कंप्रेस करके लिक्विफाई करके LPG बना. इसी तरह जो नेचुरल गैस है इसको कंप्रेस करके क्या बना? CNG, that is compressed natural gas. This compressed natural gas is used as a fuel. बहुत जगहों पे इंडस्ट्रीज में इसको एज ए फ्यूल यूज किया जाता है. और आजकल हम देखते हैं this CNG is used in automobiles. ऑटोमोबाइल्स में इस CNG को एज ए फ्यूल यूज किया जाता है. वहीं पे नहीं, in different cities of India, this natural gas is used as a fuel in our homes. अगर हम दिल्ली की बात करें and in a few states of Gujarat, वहां पे ये नेचुरल गैस जो है CNG, इसकी डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन होती है हर एक घर में थ्रू पाइपलाइंस, पाइपलाइंस में घर में पहुंचाया जाता है। इट इज द ओनली एडवांटेज विद सीएनजी कि ये पाइपलाइंस के, जिस तरह हम देखते हैं वाटर टैप्स के थ्रू हमें पानी मिलता है उन पाइप्स के थ्रू, इन द सेम वे in many cities of India this CNG is given to the householders for to use as a fuel through pipelines, उनको ये पहुंचाया जाता है। That is the main advantage of this natural gas, or we can say compressed natural gas. And one more advantage of this compressed natural gas is it is an alternative. It is an alternative for पेट्रोल एंड डीजल। आप देखते होंगे बहुत सारी गाड़ियों में आजकल एक तो पेट्रोल पे भी चलती है, डीजल पे भी चलती है, उसके साथ साथ उनमें सीएनजी भी डाला जाता है। सीएनजी भी एज ए फ्यूल वो गाड़ियां यूज करती हैं और रन करती है। इसलिए हम बोलते हैं इट इज एन अल्टरनेटिव फॉर पेट्रोल एंड डीजल। वेरी गुड। तो अभी तक हमने क्या पढ़ा? एक तो हमने पेट्रोल पढ़ा, पेट्रोलियम पढ़ा, पेट्रोलियम के डिफरेंट कंस्टिट्यूएंट्स पढ़े। उसके बाद हमने पढ़ा अबाउट दिस एलपीजी, लिक्विफाइड पेट्रोलियम गैस। व्हाई एलपीजी is used as a fuel in our homes? Because it is having some advantages. What advantages are? It produces no pollution. It is having high calorific value. It is easy to store, easy to transport, and it is convenient to use. इसलिए हम बोलते हैं LPG is the best fuel that is used in our homes. उसके बाद हमने पढ़ा natural gas, compressed natural gas. This compressed natural gas is an alternative fuel for petrol and diesel, and it is supplied through pipelines to the householders in different cities of India. तो जिसको वो घर में as a fuel use करते हैं। तो at last जब हमने पढ़ा अबाउट these exhaustible natural resources, चाहे हमने पहले क्लास में कोल के बारे में पढ़ा, इस क्लास में हमने पेट्रोलियम के बारे में पढ़ा एंड नेचुरल गैस के बारे में पढ़ा। यहां पे एक सोचने वाली बात है। हमने बोला दिस कोल इज इन लिमिटेड क्वांटिटी, यानी जितनी भी क्वांटिटी में है, लेकिन वो क्वांटिटी बढ़ती नहीं जा रही है, वो घटती ही जा रही है। जितना हम कोल को एक्सट्रैक्ट करते हैं उतना कोल कम होता जा रहा है। जितना पेट्रोलियम को हम एक्सट्रैक्ट करते हैं उतना पेट्रोलियम कम होता जा रहा है। इन द सेम वे जितना नेचुरल गैस हम यूज करते हैं उतना नेचुरल गैस कम होता जा रहा है। देयर इज पॉसिबिलिटी कि एक टाइम आएगा व्हेन दीज exhaustible natural resources may not be available for our future generations. उनके लिए ये अवेलेबल नहीं होंगी, उनके लिए फिर वहां पे कुछ अदर अल्टरनेटिव्स ढूंढने होंगे। जस्ट इमेजिन कि एक ऐसी दुनिया जहां पे हमारे पास कोल नहीं है तो इलेक्ट्रिसिटी कहां से आएगी? एक ऐसी दुनिया जहां पे हमारे पास पेट्रोलियम नहीं है, पेट्रोल नहीं है, डीजल नहीं है, एलपीजी नहीं है, इसके जितने भी फ्रैक्शंस है वो हमारे पास नहीं है। जरा सोचो कि दुनिया कैसे चलेगी। अगर हमारे पास सीएनजी नहीं है तो कैसे हो सकता है? जब ऐसा टाइम पहुंचेगा, अगर इन प्रोडक्ट्स का जुडिशियस यूज नहीं होगा, अगर इन प्रोडक्ट्स को हम जुडिशियसली यूज नहीं करेंगे, तो एक टाइम पहुंचेगा जहां पे लोगों के पास एनर्जी के लिए सोर्सेज नहीं होंगे, बहुत कम सोर्सेज होंगे। तो उस टाइम पे हम बोलेंगे, उसको हम बोलेंगे देयर विल बी एनर्जी क्राइसिस। एनर्जी क्राइसिस विल बी देयर। इसलिए यू हैव टू कीप वन थिंग इन योर माइंड कि जो भी फ्रैक्शंस है, चाहे कोल की, पेट्रोलियम की, या चाहे कंप्रेस्ड नेचुरल गैस है, यू हैव टू यूज दीज प्रोडक्ट्स जुडिशियसली। फॉर एग्जाम्पल, अगर आप गाड़ी चलाते हैं तो गाड़ी चलाते टाइम आपको एक्सीलेटर ज्यादा नहीं देना है, स्पीड ज्यादा नहीं बढ़ानी है। जितनी आप ज्यादा स्पीड बढ़ाते हैं पेट्रोल उतना ज्यादा या डीजल उतना ज्यादा कंज्यूम होता जा रहा है। या अगर आप कहीं सिग्नल पे पहुंचे, सिग्नल पे पहुंचने के बाद अगर आपको लगे कि अभी 20-30 सेकंड तक मुझे रुकना है, यू हैव टू कीप द इंजन ऑफ योर व्हीकल ऑफ। इसी तरह आपको अदर सोर्सेज ऑफ एनर्जी भी यूज करने होंगे। और वन मोर इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग, जब आप अपनी गाड़ी चला रहे हो, वेदर इट इज टू टायर व्हीकल और 4 टायर व्हीकल, यू हैव टू चेक द प्रेशर ऑफ योर टायर्स रेगुलरली। जितना आपके टायर्स में प्रेशर ठीक रहेगा, जो प्रेस्क्राइब्ड प्रेशर होता है, जो प्रेस्क्राइब्ड एयर प्रेशर होता है टायर्स के लिए, जितना वो आपके व्हीकल्स में रहेगा बराबर, उतनी उसकी कंजप्शन भी ज्यादा होगी। इसलिए देयर इज एन एडवाइस कि इन जो ये एग्जॉस्टेबल नेचुरल रिसोर्सेज है, वी हैव टू मेक यूज ऑफ दीज एग्जॉस्टेबल रिसोर्सेज वेरी जुडिशियसली। थैंक यू। Stay at home, stay safe, wash your hands regularly, make use of masks. Allah Hafiz.